Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. To my subscribers, thank you so much. So if this is your first time stopping by, you are highly welcomed. Today we're learning how to cut a three-part corset plus techniques. So let's get started. So I'll first of all mark my basic bodies. If you know how to if you know how to draft out your basic bodies, go ahead and do it. Then I'll be using a pencil so that when drafting the corset there will not be too much lines. So I'll be marking my bust point, my under bust line, then the half length. So after marking it, I will go ahead and connect those points with a straight line. With a straight line. So after that, I'll be coming up by 2 inches from my bust point. That will serve as my chest line. So you can, another way to do it, divide your bust circumference by 6 and add 1.5 inches to it. That's how to get your chest line. So if you can use that method too. So after that, I'll be dividing my shoulder measurement by 2. Then I'll mark it at this upper part, then mark it at the chest line, then I'll mark the neck line 3 by 3 inches. So after that, I'll go ahead and slope the armhole, the shoulder line, that shoulder line. I'll slope it by 1 inch. Then I'll divide what is remaining, divide it by 2. Just look at what I'm doing, divide it by 2 and then mark. From there I'll go in my 0.5 inch. Then I'll mark at the chest line, I'll mark quarter of my bust circumference. From there I will now connect the armhole. So this is it. So basically the basic bodies is like ready. So what's next to do is to mark my bust span measurement, divide by 2. Then I'll put the measurement at the bust point, at the on the bust, and then at the waistline. So remember to label it: chest line, bust point, under bust, and the waistline. So after that, I will now connect that bust span measurement. Remember, it started from the bust point, not at the chest line. That first line is the chest line, so I connect it down. So then I'll now divide the what is remaining at the shoulder line by 2, and then I'll connect it with a straight line like this, so that to meet that line at the bust point like this. So after doing this, we'll go ahead to construct the corset. So I'll be marking my bust radius. There is difference between the bust point and the on a bust line, which is 3 inches for me. Then after that, I'll come up by 1 inch from the bust point. You can go up by 1.5 or leave it at the chest line, depends on how deep you want it. Then I will mark it down to the under bust line. You can see it with my marker. Yes, so at the under bust, I will tighten the under bust by 1 inch on both sides. Then at the bust point, I'll come down by 0.75 inch and then come up by 0.5 inch. I hope you can get it. I hope you get it. Then after that, I'll connect it like this. You can see it. Then after that, I will now go ahead to tighten the down part by 0.75 inch instead of 1 inch. So I use 0.75 inch. You can see it. Then after that, I will go ahead and tighten the over bust. We tighten the under bust by 2 inches, so I'll be tightening the over bust by 2 inches. I'll mark 0.75 at the one face towards the center, and then the remaining 1.25 the one towards the side front. I hope you can see it. Then make sure that your points are on that circle that we drew. So that's how I did mine, that circle that we drew. But it depends on how up, like how much you want to show. You can come up, it's not necessarily mean that you will mark it at that circle line. I hope you understand. So it depends on how you want how much you want to show off. Then I will go ahead and mark the sweetheart neckline. So I want it to be deep, so that's why I'm using the curvy, like the most curvy part of it, like this. You can see I want the sweater to show very well, so you can see it. Then after that, I'll go ahead to construct the first curve. Don't slant your curve ruler like this. If you slant it, the corset will not come out fine. Just place your curve ruler straight like this. You can see it, just straight like this. Then that's how you'll be able to make a good curve. You can see it. Then after that, you blend it. So after that, I'll be marking the my bust this thing. I don't know what to call it, but I'll start to measure it. I'll place it on the screen. Then mine is 8 inches. You can see where I measured it, 8 inches. Then I'll connect it like this. I'll place my curve ruler, I'll connect it like this. I made the point at the bust point line, so I'll connect it like this. Then blend. So after that, I'll be dividing that gap. I'll come down by 0.5 inch. Then I'll dividing this gap here by 2, and then connect like this. So you can set to connect like this to be curvy, but you can set to just connect it with a straight line to save us the stress. You can connect it with a straight line, or you can use this method that I just used, but it's kind of a bit curvy. Do you understand? So I'll go ahead and complete the other neckline. You can see it. So after that, these are the plates that will be cutting off. Then after that, I'll put the quarter of my bust circumference, then put the dart intake, put the other bust circumference, quarter of it, and then the dart intake, the waist circumference divide by 4, then the dart intake. I hope you understand. Then I'll connect it with a straight line. I'll connect it like this. I'll connect the 3 points. Then I'll go ahead and add the seam allowance. I use 1.5 inches. You can see it, right? So after that, you go ahead and construct the 3 parts, the third corset. So in this, advise you style your curve the way you want it. Some people will just slash it from that bust point, or you can mark 1.5 inch at the side, and then that 2 inches at the dark middle. You can see it, that middle. You can just style your curve the way you want it. Do you get? So I'll just label it, just label it, so that you will not get confused after cutting everything. You get? So I'll go ahead and cut them out. You can see how curved the corset is looking. You can see it. So then I'll go ahead to tape the third corset like this. Tape it together, make sure that it aligns well. It's aligned well. So after that, you cut it out. So if you're a beginner, it's advisable to trace this one on another paper and make sure that the neckline blended very well. Make sure that it blends very well. But for me, I know how to cut it on my fabric. So this is it. You can see it. So that is it. So I want to add a bags to this corset top. So but I want this place to be open. That's why I will not be taping everything, like tape it and close that opening. So I'll tape it like this, place it on another paper. So this is it. By looking at what I'm doing, I believe that you understand. So I want the basque to be 4 inches. You can go as high as 5 inches. so it depends on what you really want. Then I'll connect it like this. So this place I marked with the ruler will serve as a guideline. I don't want it to be too triangle like that. You can see what I'm doing. I'll trace it like this. After, when I now see that this is what I really want, I will now trace it with my marker. You can see it. So look at it. You can see it. It's not that too triangular, it's not that too distinct. So at that line, I'll make a line like this, and then I'll cut it out. You can see it. So this is it. So easy to do. So this is it. So this is basically for the corset. So go ahead and draft out the back. So draft out your basic pattern for back. Then if, like, I used only chest line and the waistline. If you know that your underbust is far bigger than your waistline, you could add that underbust line so that it will not, the shape will come out. So but my waistline and the underbust line is the same, so I would mark it. I'll just mark the chest line and the waistline, then I will put the dart 0.5 inch on both sides after marking the bust pan measurement divided by 2. I hope you understand. Then from the chest line, I'll go down by 1.5 inches. So it depends on what you really want. If you want it to be down or up, it depends on how you want it. So remember to come down by 0.5 inch at the armhole side as we did for the front side. I hope you understand. Then connect the neckline like this. So after that, mark your bust circumference divide by 4. Then at the waistline, so remember to take out the 0.5 inch at the down part to avoid zip bulge. So after that, you now mark your waist circumference divided by 2 plus the dart intakes. I hope you understand, the 1 inch and the 0.5 inch. Then connect it like this. So but I'll be putting a loop to this corset blouse. So the upper part, at that place that I marked that last marker, upper part I'll mark 1.5 inch. At the down part I'll mark 1 inch. I hope you understand. So after that, I'll connect my lines like this. So I'll go ahead and mark the 1.5 for seam allowance. So after that, I'll go ahead and cut it out. So hello guys, we'll be sewing this corset together, so don't be afraid. I'll be posting a video on how to sew this corset. So I'll mark a line so that to show me the upper part. So thanks for watching and bye for now.